while I like Meredith Baxter, we had a struggling conversation the other day on the show. And for those of you who saw, you know, I mentioned it on the after show too. I think you would agree. She's a great woman, but I can't think of a worse interview actually, because I
actually heard about that.
You heard about
I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a nice woman. It's just that it was like, I struggled.
Okay. Wendy Williams, who is one artist that you just don't understand why he or she is so popular? You just don't get this person.
Oh, no, I understand pop culture. So if you don't sing well, then you give good face, like maybe Jennifer Lopez, who I think that is... Listen. There's many reasons to love somebody. If you do sing well, then you're not popular, like Leona Lewis.
The Wendy Williams and Kevin Hunter saga has taken a darker turn, with shocking new allegations surfacing. It seems Kevin has been doing Wendy wrong for years. And no, it's not just about his infamous affair with Sharina Hudson. Fresh claims suggest that Kevin not only cheated on Wendy and fathered a child with Sharina, but he also allegedly teamed up with producers of The Wendy Williams Show in a sinister scheme to manipulate Wendy and push her into a conservatorship. It's long been rumored that Kevin was after Wendy's fortune, but this new information suggests his plotting started well before their divorce. So how exactly did they manage to deceive Wendy without her catching on? And was Sharina the mastermind behind it all? Let's dive into this. Kevin's affair with Sharina Hudson wasn't just a brief lapse in judgment, it lasted over a decade, reportedly beginning in 2008. Wendy allegedly discovered his infidelity through suspicious text messages on Kevin's phone. Despite knowing about his shady behavior, Wendy chose to stay in the marriage, but the emotional toll was enormous. She battled feelings of betrayal, anger, and sadness while maintaining a brave face. However, Wendy wasn't just sitting idle. By 2012, she was already planning her exit strategy, determined to leave Kevin and stop funding his double life. Her patience wore thin, and by 2019, when news broke that Kevin had fathered a child with Sharina, it was the last straw. Wendy filed for divorce in April 2019 after 21 years of marriage. The divorce wasn't finalized until January 2020, marking 9 grueling months of legal battles and emotional challenges. Wendy's decision to file wasn't just about ending the marriage, it was a calculated move to ensure she wouldn't be financially responsible for Kevin and his mistress for the rest of her life. Through this turmoil, Wendy leaned heavily on her work, using her talk show as an outlet to distract herself from the chaos of her personal life. However, new allegations suggest that the story goes beyond infidelity. Rumors indicate that Kevin was orchestrating a far more sinister plot to exploit Wendy, and he allegedly had help from the production team of her own show.
5 tapings a week. Every single taping, she always had what? Her cup. What was in her cup? Her tea. Now, a lot of the audience and the public assumed she was putting some whiskey in there. She had liquor. Sometimes it was wine. No, baby. It was tea. It was tea. And even though she put her own tea bag in there and she would drop her own cough drop in there, she was not the one heating up the water and bringing it to the actual desk. So whoever was in charge of her hot water to be there ready for her to dip her tea bag in, that's probably who y'all need to look at. I can't say no names, but that's all I can say is that she was literally being drunk through her tea that she drank every single day.
The goal? To make Wendy appear erratic and unstable, paving the way for a conservatorship. According to blogger Storm Monroe, one method they allegedly used involved spiking Wendy's daily cup of tea. The tampering reportedly caused behavioral changes that were visible to viewers, including slurred speech, memory lapses, and erratic actions.
They was dropping in there to drug Wendy, to make her look loopy, to make her seem loopy and delirious so she could eventually be pushed into a conservatorship, actually started to she started to have negative effects with it, okay? The reason why her lymphedema started to act up was because of what she was being drugged with. When Wendy was falling over the chair and calling out to her mom, even after her mom had died, she was being drugged. Of course she didn't know it. She wasn't aware of it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been drinking out of that cup. Now, what they drugged with, what was the dosage? I don't know. Just know there are many different ways to drug people. And in this industry,
fans noticed these changes and began speculating about Wendy's mental health and potential addiction issues. However, the truth, according to these claims, is far more sinister. Wendy's apparent behavior was allegedly a direct result of the substances secretly added to her tea. Storm Monroe explained that although Wendy would prepare her tea with her own tea bag and cough drops, the hot water was provided by someone else. This raises questions about who was behind the scenes orchestrating this manipulation. The alleged tampering not only affected Wendy's on-air performance, but also took a toll on her health, worsening her pre-existing conditions like lymphedema and causing severe physical and mental strain. The alleged goal of this plot was to push Wendy into a conservatorship, similar to the one Britney Spears endured. By portraying Wendy as incapable of managing her own life, Kevin and the producers could gain control over her finances and career. Reports also suggest
Said she started to exhibit more and more erratic behavior on air. People thought she was drunk. People thought that maybe she was back using drugs. Her lymphedema continued to act up, but it was all a plot between Kevin Hunter, production, and of course the bank Wells Fargo to eventually lock Wendy in a conservatorship and to make her look crazy. It is what it is.
The secret drūgging took a severe toll on Wendy's body and mind, causing a rapid deterioration.
that financial institutions like Wells Fargo were involved, freezing Wendy's accounts and cutting off her access to her own money. This left her vulnerable to manipulation, as she was unable to defend herself legally or financially. The plan wasn't flawless, however, as cracks began to show. Kevin Hunter, who was allegedly one of the key players in the scheme, was eventually pushed out of the circle. This created a power struggle between Kevin and others involved, leaving him out in the cold. Kevin later lashed out publicly, claiming he was owed money and blaming others for his financial woes. He even begged Wendy for financial support, stating that he was unable to pay his bills due to the severance payments being stopped. Despite his apparent desperation, it's hard to feel sympathy for Kevin, knowing the role he allegedly played in Wendy's downfall. He reportedly thought he could walk away with millions, but instead, he ended up broke and pleading for help.
That being said, at some point, Kevin was kicked out of this plan to put Wendy in this conservatorship. So think about who was all involved with this. Production, and by production, I mean production / the network, right? Wells Fargo, and then, of course, Kevin. But Kevin got kicked out the circle. Kevin got kicked out of the circle, and then the white folks took over. And from what my source is telling me, it's not even just that the white folks took over, is that them people are gonna always stick together.
As for Wendy, the alleged manipulation and betrayal by those closest to her have taken a heavy toll. Her story is a stark reminder of how vulnerable even the most successful celebrities can be when surrounded by people with ulterior motives. While the truth of these allegations is still unfolding, it's clear that Wendy has been through an unimaginable ordeal. What do you think about these shocking revelations? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out